Plus One Forward, the podcast powered by the Apocalypse, where we talk about tabletop role-playing games using or inspired by the Apocalypse engine. I'm your MC Rich, and I'm joined by my guest, Blake Ryan. Hey Blake, welcome to the show.
G'day, thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Oh, welcome. Let's kick this off with our regular question. How long have you been playing PBTA games, and what was your gateway?
Around 3 years ago, but yeah, it was pretty much spot on 3 years. I heard about Dungeon World when I was listening to Misdirected Mark podcast.
Oh, I love that show. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're good folks. They pointed me over to Discern Realities, and I was off and running. There was so much good content there.
Nice. So did you run Dungeon World, or did you play Dungeon World when you first got to it?
First off, I ran Dungeon World after listening to quite a lot of the sort of APs on YouTube and podcasts, because I wanted to get the flow of it before I ran it myself, and I found, that APs were good for that. I love the cooperative style and getting your players involved in the scenes and the overall plot and the quick mechanics. And even with this, we just found it flowed so quickly compared to more traditional games. We get bogged down and, a bit slower. And since then, I've ran, Monster of the Week a ton of times and watched hundreds of hours of really good PBTA on your own and Lowell Francis's YouTube channels.
Oh, thanks. You're a little modest, though, Blake. You run a pretty great Monster of the Week game. That Dresden Files hack that you've done of it is just superb.
Yeah, it's doing all right. People had no complaints, so, and I do intend to do some more at some point.
Awesome. Well, let's jump on over here and read a sitch. So in Read a Sitch, we talk about a specific issue of play or something coming up at our tables, and if we can talk about it from a PBTA lens, we love to do that. Curious, Blake, you wanted to talk about being too literal when seeing playbooks or moves in PBTA games. You want to talk a bit about that, Blake?
Sure. For example, like a wolf in Urban Shadows they're all werewolves, or harm is always obvious external physical wounds. A fireball is always a ball of fire that's cast with incantations and gestures, and it's like, they're just examples, but they're kind of overused. You can do a lot more with it. For example, a wolf could be an otter, or a snake, or a bear, or a spider, or a raccoon. It doesn't have to be a werewolf.
You're saying that I could play in Urban Shadows, I could play like an otter in the middle of the city. Would that take any tweaks to the moves, you think?
Not really. It's more how you flavour them and roleplay them. Because you still got your territory, you've still got your loyalty to your friends and that, and there's nothing that's non-otter-like about that. And you don't even have to be a shapeshifter. You can just be like a garbage man or a shaman or something that's possessed by the spirit of an otter. There's different ways you can tweak it. It doesn't have to be, it says wolf, therefore I'm a werewolf. It's like, no, there's different ways you can spin it.
Neat. Okay. Well, you said some other ways to view harm other than external physical wounds. What have you done with harm in games?
It could be shakes, like just a small shake with your hands, or if it's a lot of damage, it could be you have a fit on the floor that sort of passes with time, or maybe it comes on when you do magic sort of thing. It's your spider sense. Obviously a bit more severe, but there's different ways to do that.
Cool.
It could be flashbacks to stuff that happened earlier in your life. It could be a stutter that comes out.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's neat. You're really opening it up. I like that. And how are players, like folks who probably never played a PBTA game, and like, oh, okay, this is how it goes. But what about the folks that have played other PBTA games and you throw this curveball at them about a more descriptive way to think of harm rather than just you got shot in the gut or whatever? How do they normally react to it?
They like it. They go, oh, okay, yeah, cool, I'm going to do it this way. It might be nausea and vomiting because it sort of hit your nervous system. And we've all had nausea and vomiting before. It's not something mystical that we can't relate to.
True, I've never been shot in the gut, but I have definitely had nausea and vomiting. That's a pretty good point. It actually makes it a little more palpable, almost gritty in a way. That's cool.
It's also compulsive behaviour harm might be. So you could be obsessed over a new game or a robin that flew past your window or something, and you can just roleplay that you want to keep chasing this robin when you're supposed to be interacting with the plot and that. But it's better than just, my leg hurts, I've got to go to hospital. It's just good to have a bit of variation.
Well, let's expand this out. Let's figure out, workshop a few others. What would you do about, well, I'm going to call this show the Plus One Forward show. What would you do about +1 forwards? What are some other ways to explain that, say, from a Rita Sitch type question?
So Rita Sitch, you're looking for ways to deal with a dangerous or soon to be dangerous situation. So it could be you're a hacker or you're an NSA agent or whatever, and you have a flashback to the night before where you're looking at maps and sewage tunnels of the area, and you go, oh, I've already looked at ways to get out of this set of buildings or this suburb. I know how to avoid the traffic spot, and yeah, you can have a sort of flashback to you've already researched the terrain, and then that way you can go, oh, okay, get back to the present. Oh, I'm going to go and do this, and that's how you knew about it.
That is really cool. I like that, kind of expanding it to flashback possibilities. So even though you're reading an immediate situation, you're using a little bit of color to give it something that I wouldn't have thought of normally. That's really cool. I'm totally stealing that.
What's another one? Yeah, if you want to sort of aid someone, we had one where the guys went to college together. So while they were fighting, and the Chosen sort of wanted to take his 7 to 9 up to a 10 to finish off the vampire. So his buddy went to college and said, hey, we used to play computer games together, so he has to finish him, like they do in Mortal Kombat. And it's like, yeah, I can see that sort of camaraderie. That's enough to push it up for your aid to help him. But it's not physically help him. He wasn't anywhere near the vampire. He was just cheering on his buddy.
That is sweet. That is really, really cool. All right. This has been extreme. I hope the listeners enjoy this because I am taking some serious notes. This is definitely things that are coming into my toolbox. I really appreciate it. Anything, any last thoughts you have on not being so literal when you see a playbook or a move?
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be physically helping. For example, cast out evil. It could be you're telling the bad guy, we're telling your boss the crappy work you've done. So you're affecting its reputation. You could cut off its source of power. So it's a non-magical vampire now, or it's a non-magical demon. So there's different ways to affect something without physically harming it every time. It doesn't have to be biffo,
All right. Well, I know you're on here to talk about a particular game. What do you think about us jumping on over here and opening our brain to it?
Sounds good.
Open your brain. All right, in Open Your Brain, we talk about a specific game. Blake is here to talk about his game, Don't Pay the Ferryman. Now, that had a different name. You originally released it under another name, so people might know it from that name as well. What was the original name of this one?
Original was Conjure Hagalaz.
Cool. So Don't Pay the Ferryman. It is out now. You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG.
Yep.
I would like to know about Don't Pay the Ferryman. What's the setting and what's it about?
It's a fantasy setting. I'll give you the quick blurb. It's you travel the world of Rakirta between magical places as explorers, investigators, and agents. You decide how your mystical powers manifest, be it making gadgets, doing spells, war cries, something else. You work for an arcane order, a church, a ninja ryu, or a ferryman. And you start with either a familiar, sanctuary, or ability to create portals.
Okay, I gotta ask, because I'm a little ignorant on that term you just threw out. You work for a ninja ryu? What's that?
Yeah, ryu is like school or way of teaching.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Like a martial arts style. So, this ryu is a bunch of teachers in one location and they do certain styles.
And you start with a familiar, I know that, a sanctuary, or the ability to create portals. What are the portals for? Are they for gazing or some kind of travel thing? Or what's that?
Yeah, it's a travel thing. So you can go to the moons or the underworld or different places on the world of Rakirta. It's not, I can teleport to anywhere. It's, I've got the coordinates to exact location. You might say, I've got a portal to the Fire Moon of Vandir. I'm like, yep. What happened last time you were there? You can say, I was chased by Naga because I ripped off their temple. I'm like, no worries, and we'll weave that into the plot at some point.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Now, I'm curious. Let's say we had 3 players. Could one work for an arcane order, the other work for a church, and the last one work for a ninja ryu?
You certainly can. And your one character can work for all of them.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Just for the main starting story, the moderator will go, okay, this mission I've got in mind, I think it would come from this one. Who's got that one? Okay, we'll start with that. And then later on weave in the other potential quest givers or not.
Nice. And then continuing with these three clever players, could one of them start with a familiar and then talk one of the others? No, I want you to have portals, but I really have to have my familiar. Is that a thing?
Yeah, later on you can take the other abilities. It's just what you start with.
Oh, cool. Okay, awesome. All right, well, hit me with this. What mechanics are different in this game versus, say, Apocalypse World?
The big one, shock horror, it's 2d8, not 2d6.
What? Why? That's crazy.
I wanted a bit more range, particularly because I wanted the magic system to be influenced by the environment. For example, if you're doing an aura of ice, or then and it's raining or you're standing in a river, you get +1 of the roll because the environment is literally helping you fuel your magic. If you're in a necromancer's cave and he's been doing magic there for 50 years, you're going to get a -1 to affect him because the place is attuned to his magic. So while there's not constant modifiers, they're there, and you can use them and change the sort of your character's action to game that, I guess.
Okay, make sure I understand, Blake. You're saying that you went to the 2d8, so there's a wider range, which allows players to kind of stack bonuses and benefits to try to push? Is that...
A little bit. It's more to bring the setting and the situation into the rolls instead of every time you cast a blast of lightning, it's exactly the same, because it shouldn't be. The environment should affect it.
Okay, yeah, so it gives a little bit more play from roll to die roll, not ROL.
Yeah. Although 7 to 12 makes more sense, 7 to 11 rolls off the tongue, so 7 to 11 is the mid-range.
So 12 plus then on this sucker is what you're looking for. So let me ask, Blake, do you still have +1 forward?
Yes.
All right, good. Woo! Woo!
Yeah, still 6 minus failure, still +1 forward, still +1 ongoing.
Awesome. What is your favorite move and why?
Okay, probably the special quests. When you get experience points from role-playing your character and doing your quests and stuff, and you get advancements. And regardless of what you spend your advancements on, how broad or narrow your skill set is, every 3 advancements you get a special quest. And this is like the high-octane part of the series. It's higher risk, higher reward, and the player will negotiate with a moderator of sort of what is going to, some parameters about what's going to happen in this thing. In Star Trek, it would be the double episode. In CW, it's episode 8 every season. So the player chooses from something to do with the astral plane, the moon, or the underworld, something to do with Astar, Kin, Ferryman, or Valkyries, 3 of the sort of major factions, and whether it involves a ninja review, arcane, guild, or church. And the player will pick those things, and the moderator will go, right, we'll start weaving that into the plot.
Man, you're throwing out all these interesting terms. The Valkyries, Ragnarok. So it sounds like, even though this is a fantastic world, that you use some touchstones from our own mythology. Is that right?
A little bit, yeah. There's a bit of Greek, Norse. There's quite a few Japanese and Chinese mythology creatures, because there's some really cool stuff out there for anyone that's ever seen anime knows, but it's just not in that other game, or it's way underused, and I love underused stuff. But the special quest, if 2 of your players have been through the same sort of arc of story, they can say, hey, we want to combine it. I'm like, okay, so this is, this quest that once you do it, it's going to be the make or break stuff. It's going to make you legends or martyrs.
So the special quests, do they have specific mechanics to them, or is this just a communication between the players and the GM or MC that this is a higher stakes, higher reward?
The latter. Okay. It's you're letting them know up front, hey, we're about to click it up a gear, and you can give me some of the parameters you want me to work with. You're not going to know what's happening, but you can have some idea that, hey, it in the past so far it's worked really well. People have enjoyed it because they're like, okay, now we've got to put our big boy pants on and take it seriously.
Well, I like that. I have to say, I'm pretty excited to dip in and not pay some ferrymen. Do you think we can act under fire and maybe give this a shot?
Yeah, it sounds good.
It is time to act under fire.
All right, Act Under Fire is a quick bit of actual play, so you can see the game in action. Blake will be our moderator. I'll be playing Plussy. And because there is a species of orc, O-R-K, in this game, that is what I'll be playing. And please don't at me, but I hardly ever get to play orcs, so here we go.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, orcs in this setting they're like Oliver Platt and Three Musketeers. cultured Mediterranean civilization builders.
Oh man, I'm all about that. You posted up on Twitter. I'll try to have a link to it in show notes of one of the orcs from the book, and it is so dope. He looks awesome. I totally want to play that guy.
When I saw it, I thought, yep, that's exactly what I want.
Nice. The virtue for Plussy in this game is courage, and the vice that I chose is pride. And we went with the playbook of Harlequin. Let's go. What do you need from me, Blake?
Okay, so this is the standard sort of love level when someone's been away and they come back. So we're going to roll virtue and pride. So virtue, roll plus, so 2d8 plus your intuition. Well, in this case, it's +1, isn't it?
These D8s, they have not hit a table in so long, Blake. This is awesome.
I've always loved D8s. I thought, well, I've got to use them more.
All right, so I'm going to roll 2d8 now?
Yep, and add +1 in this case, because you're plussy.
All right, here we go. A 7 and a 4 plus 1, that is a 12.
Okay. So, I'll set the scene a little first.
Okay.
You're in Kestrick, which is in the League of Free States, so there's a lot of flat-roofed white buildings with sort of central open-air courtyards. Some of the other species have shared step pyramids, and it's a theocracy, so that's like the sun god is generally worshipped here. This culture's more ancient Babylon, Egyptian sort of based. Now, you have courage, and you rolled 12+, so you can choose one of these 4 options. You were doing something that involves your courage, and you gained a new contact. You had a vision of a future event. You discovered useful information for someone else you know. Or you learned of a peaceful area in the astral plane, so like a nice holiday spot.
Ooh, a peaceful area in the astral plane sounds fun, but I think for the purpose of this, we are going to go with a new contact.
No worries. And I'll get a roll pride as well, so that's roll plus charm. So again, +1 in this case.
All right. Holy crats, dude. I just rolled a 6 and a 7. +1, that's 14. Yeah, I told you that I haven't rolled these things in a while. They are really eager to make us happy with good rolls, I think.
Okay, so again, you've got 4 options. So while indulging your pride in some way, you gained a contact as well. You heard about a theft, corruption, or enforcement opportunities on one of the moons. You gained some cash after you let yourself go, or you learned of a hidden place in the underworld.
Ooh, I think hidden place in the underworld sounds fun.
For the purpose of this, we can just choose which one we're going to go with.
Okay.
I think we'll go new contact. So normally, what we would do is take those results. One of them we weave into the existing plot as a way of weaving you back into the game, and the other one is going to be a link to future plots. So the character that wasn't there is actually going to start weaving in the new plot for the GM to roll with. In this case, we'll go with new contact. Now, we'll say there's some... You suspected the Viridian Thorns, which are like corruptors. They try and get you by vices and get you under their spell sort of thing, the Velvet Glove sort of bad guys. You heard they were doing a protection racket in this area. This new contact gave you some tips about where they are. So is this new contact an orc, you think, or human, elf, necromancer, dryad?
Ooh, a dryad? Yeah, dryad. New contact's a dryad. That sounds fun.
Okay, so they're, humanoid, but plant species, 4 arms, 2 legs. Are they a harlequin as well, or are they just sort of street level informer, or what do you think?
Oh, I think they're a harlequin as well. We've worked before in the past, and
okay.
Maybe they owe me a little bit, and I'm pretty prideful about it, so...
All right, you needed to get the lowdown on these Viridian Thorns and thought, right, had a chat with them. Okay. They let you know there's a manor in the hills about an hour outside of town where they think these Viridian bad guys are sort of operating out of.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to go and check it out? And are you going to try and get this dryad to come with you?
All right, so this dryad, we'll call him Fricky. Yeah, come on, Fricky. You can't just roll over a little bit of info and then sit back. It's a whole bunch of those guys. I mean, the Viridian Thorns are no slouch. You got to come with me. Plus, you can sit back and watch me be amazing.
Yeah. Okay, but if we liberate anything, I want half.
Not only half, you get first pick.
Oh, there's an offer I can't refuse. That sounds great.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so you I'm not going to make you roll or anything. You'll get out to the hills in the manor. It looks like the normal sort of white brick stucco houses. There's a wooden palisade around the edge. You think you're going to try and sneak in during twilight, or you're going to try and talk your way in? How are you going to get in there, you think?
I think sneaking in is probably the best way to go. You can always talk in if you're caught after sneaking in, but,
Okay. Alright, so we go sneaking in. So, have you done a lot of sneaking before? Are you just sort of naturally good at it, or are you just going to wing it?
I'm going to wing it. Frankie's here. They've got my back. This is fine.
Alright. This sounds like reflexes, so roll +1 in this case. 2d8
Alright.
+1.
Here's where the law of averages hit us. Oh, man, no. That's a 3 + 7 + 1. That's an 11, so a mid-range result.
Okay, so we can go with it works, but you can choose time. So, it takes a bit of time to get in there. Or it's incorrect information, like could be the wrong place. Attracts attention, it's always a fun one. Fatigue, so just -1 forward, because, it's tiring, it was a big wall. Or some sort of miscellaneous supernatural effect, which I'll just decide.
Ooh, I'm tempted by your supernatural effect, but I think I'm going to go with draws attention. That seems the most appropriate for my lack of actual stealthy skill.
Okay, so you're climbing over the palisade, it's twilight, and there's a couple of people, they come around the corner of the building. One of them's like, "Did you hear that?" The other's like, "No, I didn't hear it, just come over here." They look like they're having a sort of secret kiss around the corner, outside of what they think is that from where no one can see them.
Oh, there's no time for romance when the Viridian Thorns are involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you move, you're probably going to get their attention, or you could just stay there and wait, or you could use one of your spells if you wish.
Ooh, let's use a spell.
So on page 3 of your thing, you've got 9 spells there. You could do Confusion or Illusion.
What is Qual Quarry? What does that mean?
Oh, that's if you want to eat stuff. You can eat whatever you like and get sustenance from it.
Oh, that's not useful here, but really cool. What was transform into a reptile? Is that what I could do?
Yeah.
I totally want to become a reptile.
Yeah, you could transform into a little lizard, climb down there.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm transforming into a reptile. What do I need to do?
So roll plus charm, so +1 in your case.
All right. Oh, man. That is another mid-range result with a 10.
Sweet. You also mark 1 wound point or fatigue point.
Ooh, okay. Fatigue. It drains me. Something about becoming a lizard.
Yeah, it may just be literal fatigue. Can be tiring, or it could be you get a bit shaky, or whatever. It's up to you, sort of how you skin that. Now, when you do your magic, is it are you doing incantations and gestures, or are you putting gadgets together? What does it look like when you do your thing?
Oh, yeah, great question. So I think as a Harlequin, I was trained with incantations and gestures. I think that's really fun. So I'll probably have to find some little area. I'm imagining I'm kind of hiding out before completely getting up over this giant wall so that I can turn myself into a lizard.
No worries. Okay, and the 7 and 9 result, it works, but something affects the environment. Tactical, puts someone in danger. Fixation, you've got a compulsive behaviour for a while. It affects magnetism. A portal opens to an unknown location. That's...
Wow.
Not sure.
Those are neat.
I'm not sure it suggests that last one at this point, but...
Yeah, I think that would kind of throw us off track here. I'm going to choose that it puts someone in danger.
Okay, so...
You get to choose who, right?
We'll say Frecky's like, "What are you doing?" And she doesn't pay attention to where she's gripping and falls off the wall.
Oh, crap.
So she's fallen and hit the ground, but now you can act. What?
Oh, okay. It wasn't that bad of a fall. She's not dead? She's not dead?
Nah. Yeah. So you've turned into a lizard. You're on the outside of the wall. She's on the inside of the wall, hit the ground. And the two people having the tryst are sort of wandering towards her, going, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing?"
Ooh, I'm going to lizard crawl my way up and come up from behind those guys. And I'll help Fricky out by trying to take these guys down.
Okay. Do you just want to do one of your confusion spells?
Oh, yeah. Let's confusion them.
Yeah. I won't get you to roll this time. That's fine. You do confusion, and then they're like, "Oh." They get sort of, "Hey, what's going on? What are we doing? We better get out of here." And they just sort of wander off. Frecky's like, "Cheers."
Can I release out of the reptile thing, or do I need to charm my way back to human?
No. You can release it or keep it going for a while.
Okay, cool. Then I'm just going to climb into Freaky's pocket.
Okay. yeah, I'd say Freaky has some pouches, because being a dryad, she doesn't need to wear pants or anything. I'll say she, but it's a they, really.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're trooping around the compound, trying to find a way in, sort of thing?
Yeah, let's sneak around. I figure as a lizard, I'll be even better at sneaking. So I'll have my head out of the little pocket. I'm not going to rely on some dryad to do all my work for me. I mean, I got to earn some of this too. So I'll have my little lizard head popped up. Can I speak? Can I speak common or basic?
Yeah, you can still talk.
Oh, sweet. All right. Yeah, Fricky, just move around. I'll be your eyes and ears. Although I don't think I have ears. I have ear holes. But let's go.
She gives you a little pat and sneaks away in. I'll say you creep around a few different rooms and you find they've got some notes where they're producing counterfeit coins and blackmailing a few people and stuff.
Oh, this is it. This is exactly what we needed.
Now, what we can do is one of the espionage moves, which is kind of a zoom-out narrative thing. Do you want to sabotage them, so like set up another group against them? Do you just want to grab the evidence and take it to the militia, so to speak?
Oh, listen.
Or do you want to put yourself in the documents and make it look like you're one of their agents to go deep undercover? What sort of person is Plussy in this case? What would Plussy the Orc do, you think?
Oh, the idea of writing himself in as a deep agent is really interesting. But I think that what Plussy would be motivated to do is try to pit them against another faction. The enemy of my enemy is technically my friend here. That's what I go for.
Okay, now have you done this sort of thing before, or are you just sort of winging it, or...?
I'm winging it. I read about this in a novel.
Excellent. And you're not talking to people, so roll plus intuition, and we'll see how you go.
All right,
so this
here
would be the part where you'd zoom out and there's some action music and there's shots of Plussy looking at different documentation and writing down stuff and glancing at the door and...
Nice. Freaky's watching out for him, and she's like walking around bored, and Freaky's still trying to... Oh, yes, perfect. I have rolled a 5 plus 1 is a 6. That's a fail.
Okay. Here I was expecting you to succeed.
How dare you?
Hey, there's actually a moderator move that says link this to another part of someone's life. In this case, I'm going to choose your pride. I'm going to say you hear someone in the next room and you have to stop what you're doing so you don't get to set them up against another group, and you hide in a sort of a back room, and there's a portal there. Well, you can see there's like a dark cavern, so you're pretty sure it leads to the underworld.
Oof.
Which is, there's demons and undead and lovely stuff down there, but it does get you out of trouble if you go through it. Or you can stay here and potentially get caught by the Viridian Thorns.
Freaky, this isn't looking good. I don't see any treasure. You want to ditch? Get out of here? Maybe back our way out, or hit this
we can
portal?
at least have a look on the other side and then come back if we need to.
Yeah. That sounds great. I'll stick my head through. Let's check out this. Have a look on the other side.
It's just the underworld. How bad could it be? All right. So you go through?
Yes, I will go through the portal to the underworld.
And it is a 6-, so the portal closes and you're in the underworld.
I think I look at Freaky and I go, think we're stuck.
And we'll roll credits.
All right. Okay, that was really fun. Blake, thank you so much for giving me a chance to play Don't Pay the Ferryman. Now, I did mention at the top that this is on DriveThruRPG. Are there any other places where somebody can pick up this game, or is that the best place?
Yeah, that's probably the best place. And I'm generally on Twitter, and you can hook me up if you need to have any questions or anything.
All right. Well, fantastic. Blake, thank you so much for coming on Plus One Forward and sharing this game with us.
Thank you very much. It was good fun.
Plus One Forward is a production of the Gauntlet community, Richard Rogers and Rach Shelkey. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com or follow us on Twitter at @+1FWD. If you would like to support our show, visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/gauntlet. The games mentioned on this show use the Apocalypse engine, which is a creation of Vincent and Magay Baker. The music for Plus One Forward is from the Savage Aural Hotbed CD Gomi Daiko. The songs used are Gomi Daiko, Metal Version, and Drowning Attitude. You can find more amazing tunes by Savage Aural Hotbed on their website, www.savageauralhotbed.com.
Hello, listeners. This coming October, the Gauntlet will once again be putting on GauntletCon, our online gaming convention. GauntletCon will include guests, panels, a dedicated Discord server for mustering, and lots of RPG sessions. Many will be streamed and recorded. GauntletCon runs October 24th through 27th with events throughout those days to cover many time zones. If you're interested in our newsletter for GauntletCon, you can sign up at gauntlet-rpg.com/gauntlet-con-2019. GauntletCon's a great gaming experience, and I hope you'll consider joining us as a GM, a player, or a viewer.